a bit of a cold. Pardon me while I finish setting up all the stream stuff, and I'll be ready to go. One day, I gotta get a background that'll make this all look better. But today is not that day. My face doesn't need to be so big. That's probably good enough. So today we're gonna talk about Vivian Kong, who has somehow managed to do 2 tournaments and lose no bouts in 2024, which is mind-bogglingly insane. I'm looking for, okay, that's just all the way back to Doha already. Trying to find her bouts from Barcelona. That was on the Esgrima channel that I think about it. They have nothing. Nothing posted for a year. Lovely. Okay. That's probably team. That's probably individuals. All right. We got Doha. We got Barcelona. We're going to go through the finals there. And then we're going to go take a look at the last time she lost, which we'll have to go find and see what happened with that. Oh, good. No flickering this time. Which means I can go here. And I can go to set transform. Which is not what I wanted. I undo that. Go to here, filter. Filters. I want to delete that one. Yes. Scale this down a bunch. Not that much. Scale this up a bunch. Do this cornered. Scale it up a little bit more. All right, let's go. Vivian Kong is world number 1 and was world number 1 coming into Doha and won Doha, and then was world number 1 again coming into Barcelona and won again, and now she's probably could take the rest of the season off and stay number 1. That's an insane amount of points. What do we got? We got a lot of active movement. One of these days, I'm also going to do a stream about how to analyze a fencer. So we had active movement before, and now we're going into a little bit smaller movement as the clock ticks down for the first period. A lot of attempted blade takes, but very uncommitted with it. He's doing an early parry in case Napagmiaska goes, but not really threatening or doing anything with it, so that if something else happens, she's ready, and we're into the first non-combativity. Now we got beat attacks with and without a step, break distance, break distance. It does seem like she's controlling the distance more than Napik is. Seems like Napik wants to get closer and keeps getting stopped. I don't really have anything to say with that except that's just the vibes of how I'm seeing it. Getting good reactions from Napik as we go into the second non-combativity. Not a lot to learn so far. Napik Miazga has not done a whole lot. Kong has not done a whole lot. Played a very safe, precise game, and obviously as world number one, if they go another minute, she wins. Although we know that's not going to happen. First real aggressive movement from Napik, and Kong pretty surprised by it, but same deal. Because she's so uncommitted with her movement, she's able to get out of the way in time. And I think that first one, at least, Napik had a good opportunity and just kept her arm back too much, scared of a parry. And now, kind of a do-or-die situation there, and she flushes in for a weirdly slow flush. I think I remember that from last time also we watched this. Napik just not really willing to commit 100%. End of the first. Kind of a little bit of a jerky action from Napik, who is definitely the aggressor there. You can see the flick here. As Kong opens the distance a little more. And then sees that Kong doesn't go back and then flushes. But there's such a long break there that she kind of lost all the advantage she got from the flick. So I don't know if it's the presence on strip of Kong that she's got people scared of her or what. But could be that extra distance break. Now we didn't realize it. Like, she see her And it's a very set distance because she's not going backwards at all. And then a high-low classic touch. I wonder if that's it. She's keeping distance. An open distance. And then right back into the same stance, but at a farther distance. Doing the same kind of a thing. This is one of the things that's so important in fencing, is you can talk all you want about, if they do this, you do that, and then you do this, and they do that, and build up all these sequences of actions. But it's so overcomplicating. Really, all you need to do is do it at the right distance. Open distance. I think I went too far back. Open distance. Closed distance. Wide distance. And then, I don't know if Napik was expecting a step in. I could see a little bit of a feint there from Kong. That was gross. I'm sorry. I have a cold. Poke, 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 poke. I'm kind of getting the sense that Napik's game is built around being closer than she is. Just a lot of things she does make more sense if she was closer. And Kong is just not letting her get close. Through a combination of... That one was a close one for Kong. Kong is just not letting her get close through a combination of really precise threats to the wrist and good steps back. Where Napik wants to get in close and Kong is just giving ground so it doesn't happen, but giving ground as little as she can and as she's making it as difficult as possible for Napik to get in. And so Kong isn't doing anything specific here, really. She's just completely shutting Napik down. Things like that are great. This is what superior distance control gets you, is just easy, simple control of the bout. Okay, I don't watch Napik that much, but if I'm right, she wants to be another half step in and just cannot get there. And so all of the stuff she's doing would hit if she started it that extra little bit in, and but Kong is just not letting her do it. And all Kong's really doing is steps and extensions. She's doing it, and the occasional lunge for usually a double. That was good. I'm trying to think through it. Kong a little bit more aggressive to start. I think the first time we really seen them go into Napik's half of the piece. And so I guess Napik managed to get her close enough to make a good flush. This might be a short stream, I can't talk. Good touch there from Kong, showing why Napik should be scared to get close. This was the semifinal, not the quarterfinal. This time Napik is intentionally breaking the distance, trying to build something up here, but yeah, she wants. I think Napik just cannot get into her distance, and the classic Harmenberg theory of the shorter, not the shorter fence, the fence are willing to fence at the closer distance wins is out of date for exactly this reason. Brain went 2 fencers left equals quarter for 4. 4 fencers left equals quarter for 4. Yeah, that's not quite how that works. Sorry. No, don't go bigger, just go longer. I have to make it longer here. Whatever. All right, so Harmenberg says the fencer willing to fence at the closer distance controls the tempo of the bout was true, and a good observation for his time. As we see another duck there from Kong. Flick, nothing. Like a big flick. And it's the same kind of a deal again. If you look at that. Maybe we'll watch this in slow-mo so I have time to talk. It's the flick. It's not even a flick, it's that first extension expecting a reaction, but she's so far away she's not getting the reaction, and then she does the second tempo, and because Kong didn't do that first action, she's ready to hit the second. So anyway, in Harmenberg's time, people were so far away you could get in close for free if you wanted to. And then they would try to back up and you would get in close, they would get pinned on the back line, be out of their comfort zone, you would hit them, one. Great. Nowadays, ooh, good parry there. If you want to fence close, you can. But the problem with fencing close is that you have to cross your opponent's danger zone to do it. So the tricky part in getting close, like if you can fence close, great. But the tricky part is to get close without getting hit. And that wasn't an issue in Harmenberg's time the way it is today. Oh, unlucky. Great time from Kong, and kind of paired herself on Napik's blade. Yeah, another one. Napik gets close and then doesn't do anything with it. Like she's expecting her attack to not need to go as far as it needs to go. So that's the really high level stuff going on here, is that Kong is just in absolute control of the distance here. I really hope this matches up with my analysis of the first time we watched this. So I guess it was less analysis and more a little bit of a touch scored off falling, which I think they called before. Simple straight line just says, yeah, this spot's over. Go for the finals. Go back to Doha. We're gonna skip the non-combativity. So Song Sarah is not somebody who needs defense in close quarters by a long shot. So this is going to be an interesting change in how Kong manages the distance here, which is also a very long strike zone. That's 1 to the wrist, 2 to the wrist, and then I don't know if she meant to hit or if she was just waiting for a different reaction, or if Kong is just too fast. But really excellent counterattack there. So another one where I'm not sure what reaction Kong is looking for, honestly. What reaction Sarah is looking for, honestly. It's 1 there, gets a step back, 2 there. Why is Vivian's arm so low in the bout? I will watch and see if we can figure it out. So I think that was just intelligent fencing by Kong. Sarah lunged and Kong went back, and then Sarah did the same action again, and Vivian gave her a different reaction, and that's why she won that touch. So that's smart fencing. It's just why is Vivian's arm so low? It's just a kind of an absence, really. It's the more you go into absence, the harder it is to do blade actions, but the safer your blade is and your hand is. So she's trying to find a balance there where, like, Song is still going to the hand. As they get a little bit sloppy there, and Song gets the touch. But it's a difficult, longer attack for her than it would be if Vivian was in a more normal on guard. So it's just kind of finding the balance there. And of course, she's very active with it. So her default position is down like that, but she's constantly moving it. So it's less important than it might seem to be otherwise. Good question, though. And we're I feel like she's definitely more in an absence here than she was against Napik. Double there, not much happened. Song launching longer attacks than Napik did for sure. And she's very good at those. So Kong's got to work a lot harder. That's precision. That's what that is. That's pure precision. She knows exactly, like, it's the same thing she was doing before. She's active and you can see she's bouncing, but she's not going anywhere. And Song's going back and forth and back and forth. And then so she's using her hand and some resets with the feet to control Song's distance, and And if Song gets a little bit too close, Kong punishes really, really accurately. And that's another thing also is all the preps are coming in. All the preps are coming in low. Can't even see that's how low they are. And then the actual attack was low high. And so that's another way she got around that. Yeah, Song goes forward, Kong goes backwards, and she keeps balance. But this time, same kind of action she tried before. But this time Song was ready for it. It's here, it's also that kind of. Yeah, Custer says, I feel like Kong does nothing extraordinary, but has such a good feeling on distance and tempo, and she's super accurate. Yeah, that is definitely what we seem to be learning here. Just an absolute, like the class against Napik is just an absolute masterclass in shutting your opponent down with pure distance control. Use your hand to threaten and distract, and use your feet to set up the distance, and then the touches will flow. But it's how she controls the distance against other world-class fencers who can do things like that, which was insane. Song wants core, doesn't get it. Honestly, a good counterattack by Song for being able to get a double there. So one of the things to notice here, going back to Fritz's low arm, is that it's low arm, which means the distance shrinks, into extended arm, which makes it feel a lot closer, which means you not got to be farther away. It's one of the ways she really manipulates the distance well. If you look at Songs by contrast, she's doing a lot of motion with her feet, but her arm is relatively static compared to Vivian's. A lot of up and down movement, but not a lot of forward, backward movement. And it's such a weapon when you start doing this against people. Like you stick your arm out at them, and then, especially at low mid levels, even at low mid levels, good touch there. Another drawn out of distance attack. In, out, in, in. And then Song takes the risk and does the duck, and because Kong never actually launched her attack, easy touch for her. You extend. You know, you set up at a distance, and then your opponent starts working with you at that distance, and then like you stick your arm out, you're like this as you're on guard, and then you start fencing like this, and then all of their attacks start 4 inches farther away and miss, or you pull your hand back and they come in really close, and then you just hit them a bunch. It works really, really well. So if you're looking for a good thing to do to beat your friends, just do that, and then they'll hate you. And that was an extension there from Sarah, but she's doing it as a threat, not as distance control. Double there, and you know, Vivian's very okay with doubles. Very strange one from Song. She's so good at that high-low stuff. I want to watch that again. Yeah, that one was a really, really close one to hit from Song. Yeah, so that's a like that kind of a preem is your they're getting close thing. Um, so that's one where Vivian's less committed than Song thought, but because her blade is so good and she's so precise, she went exactly as far as she needed to, and then had time to dodge the counter preem from Song and get her blade around onto target. And there's not really anything you can do to copy that except lots and lots and lots of fencing. One of my old coaches had me do a drill where I had to fence with my arm literally behind my knee. Like my belt literally had to be behind my knee. And then so I could only ever get touches with my feet. And I should have done it more because it's such a good drill. It doesn't sound like it should work, but it really focuses you on distance. Like that. Is a really good touch from Sarah. Poke. So that was threatened to the face. And then she's almost shorting her lunge, but throwing her tip right at Kong's face, so Kong doesn't come forward with the parry, and that led Song disengage. So both these bouts have been kind of close, but really Song's been doing a lot better with it. That would look like Kong lost patience. I spaced out. Let's see what happened. Song keeping it at a long distance. Kong threatening. Yeah, they're a very wide distance here. And then I don't know if Kong thought if Vivian thought Sarah was coming in or what, but she kind of broke there. Very very psychological touch, I guess, where just both of them were daring the other to come into distance, and Vivian broke first. All right, we're done. And we're into overtime. That was really a crucial touch there. Oh no. I don't remember that happening. And now we're back into the slightly closer distance where Vivian has more control over what happens, and yep, there it is. So another one where it's just distance manipulation with her tip. Stand back, stand back, stand back, stand forward, and Song falls into it. But really, really, really a phenomenal touch. Watch that one. Watch that one. Kong versus Hadley Usissian.
And Son Sirach, who's world number 5.
Sorry, I'm trying to mute David King. All right. So yeah, it's a lot of very abrupt distance manipulation. She's not trying to play with the blade, but she's out, she's back. She's out with the blade and then back with the feet. But Hadley's keeping her own motion small. And so there's just less opportunity for a counterattack from Vivian. And every bout so far has gone to passivity. This is why people don't like women's epic. Of course, the men also go to passivity a lot. And then let's see. So it seems like Hadley isn't scared of Vivian, but every time Vivian comes forward, Hadley's ready for something. Hadley gets ready for something. And then we got a kind of a sloppy action there that could have gone either way. I don't know, this sort of distance prep from Hadley feels very American, where it's 2 steps back and then forward into something. I know I do it. I don't do it. Ooh, good follow through from Hadley. Let's watch that one more time. Poke. So it gets a little bit sloppy, and then Kong goes for like a 4 that doesn't really work, and then tries to retreat, but she didn't even catch Hadley on the 4. So Hadley gets the flush through because she's staying aware. They're probably going to time here. Light bulb, and you also bounce like that. Yeah, like 2 steps out and then in to do something. Honestly, the first person I saw bounce like that was Jana Vierheller. Gigi Vierheller, if you guys remember her. She showed up at the Pig Club where I went for my like winter breaks to practice. She would do this. It was so cool when she did it. She'd be like 4, 5, 6 steps out of distance, then real close, and then back. I do it when I remember and when I want to, and I wish I should do it more. It works really well. It's very American. Hadley really threatening the wrist there, as a counter to Kong going to Kong's extensions. Yeah. Wow, I don't even know where that one hit. So Hadley ahead now, and I think one of the things she's doing that's so good about that is that Kong. We saw Kong, especially against Napik and also against Sarah, doing really precise distance controls. And with Hadley resetting the distance every prep, I think it makes it harder for Kong to play her game. We get a 2-touch lead here. So it'd be interesting to see how she adjusts to that. And there just seems to be pin Hadley back in her line, at least for that touch. Where you just don't give her time to set up. That was a really fast touch. You don't give her space to set up. I think Kanan does something like that too. It just goes very far back, and Kanan, of course, spent a lot of time fencing in the States. Yeah, we talk a lot about needing to go and get your touches here. That's a good example of it. She's pressing and taking the space Hadley gives her. And then as soon as Hadley starts pushing back, she hits her. Vivian hits her. Yeah. Hadley's touches were all on Vivian's side of the strip, and Vivian's 3 now that she's gotten in a row have been just not letting Hadley push her back at all. Yeah, another one. Or before you saw Hadley was going back, forward, like it was back, forward, back, forward. Now it's back, forward, back, forward, back, forward. She doesn't have the same space to operate. And now Vivian is just kind of smothering her. Now we got Hadley back in her game. I don't know if Kong is taking a break or saving it in the tank so Hadley can't adjust. I'm just making stuff up. I don't really know. What we do have different is now Vivian is taking parries like that. She's responding to Hadley's pressure not with extensions but with blade actions, like actions on the blade. And since before we saw Hadley primarily going for wrist shots to shut down the extensions, this is a good adjustment. Though I think she loses some of the distance pressure that way. Good touch there. good, again, just pure distance where, and a different way than we've seen before where it's forward, forward. That was actually even farther. It was maybe about here. It's, yeah. So it's just slower than I thought. It's push, and then wait for Hadley to. It's push, stop. So it's high pressure, low pressure. That low pressure sucks Hadley in, and then Kong goes forward for the touch. Great, great distance control. And there's just no fancy blade work, just pure raw footwork and distance manipulation. And again there, and remember this was 4-2, and Vivian adjusted, and Hadley has just completely fallen apart now.
But it's still a 4-point margin.
Hadley gets one of her own back there.
It's a nice move there from Vivian, but double.
Good one there. Looked like a little bit of a heat check from Vivian. Hadley goes over the top of it. Hadley looking for 2 tempo. Vivian does it in 1. Just ignores the prep entirely. Okay, some signs of life, but I think 10-5 just makes it a little bit too small, too big of a gap to come back. Good there from Hadley again. Knows Vivian wants the counter. And as soon as it comes, very fast little 8. Just enough to knock her off target. So a really good touch there, showing some signs of life. And a little bit lazy from Kong. We're not seeing her usual patience there. Hadley's adjusted to the pressure, and now Vivian needs to adjust, and she's just not taking the time she needs to do that. I don't know if she's just eager to end the bout or what. But a bit of a rush from Hadley there. And just, I don't know what that was. It wasn't great. Good touch there. I guess to take it back about that being too big of a gap to come back on. But yeah, There's a whole sequence of really good touches by Hadley, and Vivian could not respond properly. Now we see more patience here from Vivian,
She does.
um,
She does.
finding the time to trap Hadley.
Now, Title 14 referee's request.
All right,
Gina.
finals here.
Terribly sorry. This is how tired I am. I thought we had already done the gold medal matches. We hadn't. It just seemed like it. Vivian Manway Cohen to your left. Julia Ricci to your right.
Non-combativity again. Interesting style from Riti, where she's equally as patient as Vivian is. Looks a little bit limpy, but a really good. So this is the other thing we were talking about for Kong is the precision, where it's the flesh and she misses, but she doesn't overcommit to it. And so she's exactly as committed as she needs to be to have a really good chance to hit. And Ritsu takes the parry and dodges him. By the time Ritsu can get her feet under her for a counter flesh, Kong is back and ready for a counter attack.
Both of these fences very challenging.
Honestly, very similar styles here, where they're both kind of just find their distance, stay at their distance, wait at their distance until something happens without really changing it up a whole lot. More of that blade extension from Vivian, which is a pure invite. It's not a threat. Kong gets it, evens it up.
Through on the attack. Bypass. Definitely.
End of the first. Yeah, so this is boring, but there is stuff happening here. It's kind of just a pure game of chicken where every step forward is a threat from one or the other, and it's the only way you can manipulate the distance is to force your opponent to give it to you. Yeah. All right. I'm bored. So we're gonna close that because we don't need to see that, and we're gonna watch. So this is Shu Now Noah. I don't know. I'm not sure I'm saying that right. Who beat Vivian Kong. Spoilers. Filmed with a high quality potato. Tall French grip, lefty. One of the things that can happen a lot, especially in a sport like epee, is you just get overconfident in your first bout, and you know, if you went full strength, you could beat them. But you want to save your energy. You don't think it's important, so you lose because you just weren't paying attention. Every single bout has gone to non-combativity. Same thing we saw before from Ritzy, where Shu is just not giving her anything to work with. Good touch there, and I'm not sure how that happened. Poke. It's like just an earlier extension. Another one having a lot of success threatening the hand. So if you fence somebody like that, and you're annoyed at their distance manipulation, if you poke at the hand, just a low commitment poke like that, you can make life a little bit difficult for them. But of course, they have responses to that. You know, you poke at their hand, they ignore it, they go straight. You weren't committed enough to actually hit them, they hit you, blah, blah, blah. Kind of like that. Or you're predictable, they stick their hand out, you stick your hand out. They know it's coming, they're ready. They put their tip in line and kind of run your hand right onto them. Kind of like that. Shout out to the sportsmanship where acknowledging a ground hit Good long lunge there. We saw that a bunch against Nopik, and not much sense that long range attack. She prefers to get in closer to lure her opponent in and counter, which is why she keeps going to non-combativity. It'd be necessary to do more of that. I don't know if it's just she only wants to do it against a very precise reaction or lack of reaction or what. Very, very active with the blade here in a way that she wasn't in other bouts. Weird touch. A duck versus a failed parry into a double. Reset the distance. Press with the hand. Good one there, which is the same kind of deal where she spends so much time on distance manipulation that she was just does not realize where they are relative to each other, and so Kong can get the hit in before Shu can react. Now we see Shu taking a little bit more of an active role. A double there, but that was a little bit out of distance and it didn't look like Kong was ready for it. I would have liked to see her be a little bit more awake. So yeah, the distance is the hand extension is a threat. And then we saw the first, this is how bouts and fencing evolves. I gotta stop before they get too far ahead of me. Kong does the extension to get the distance, and then Shu counters it by going to the wrist, and then Kong counters that by going to the wrist. And so Shu stops going to the wrist, and that opens up Kong to go straight. And then Kong wants to go straight, and then as we just saw, Shu goes back to the wrist. So it's all building on the same stuff, even though the actions haven't changed. Simple actions, but complex in their combinations. Good touch from Shu there, holding on against Kong's pressure and then getting in the counter against the final action. So these are, I guess, the crucial two touches. Short, medium, long. And the long gets in for the two-touch lead. Floor hit again. Good one that time. No. She's losing a lot on these long attacks when she was ready for them, but she's getting a lot when she was not ready for them. So I guess it's good because it gives her one more thing to think about. Ooh, that's something new. This, I think, is the advantage of unfamiliarity, because Kong's probably never fenced Shu before, and so Shu can pull out that long lunge like that and surprise Kong once for a really crucial touch in the bout to get back to a two-touch lead. And Kong definitely got a press, which she doesn't like doing, but she can go get her touches. Equalizes, which is great. What was surprising there was that, no, yeah, Kong's still pushing. She doesn't really need to. That's not really her game. So, probably annoyed that it's a minute left in the third period and she's tied with this rando. So she's like, I'm just gonna go hit her, and then doesn't. No, she has to go hit her. And is a little bit out of sorts, I think. It's not really how she's been fencing. Yeah. Really, I think this is just out of sorts fencing now. She's not really focused. She's got lots of time left, but she keeps just throwing herself at Shu, and it's not working out for her. Expect to see 2 more doubles and be done. Yep. So learned a little bit less from that than we thought, because I'm so tired. Wow, I just hit it hard. What did we learn from that? Variety is important. Look, that was a closer bout than it looks at the 15-12 score. And honestly, it was only 15-12 because Vivian lost composure. So if you can pull her out of her comfort zone, but that's very difficult. Definitely a very defensive fencer. So you want to make her attack. And the more you go push, the more you give her to work with in terms of actions, the better she is at it. So you got to be very precise, and pick your time really well. You can't just keep doing things until something goes through, because then you'll get hit. I'm still kind of sick and I'm exhausted, so I'm going to end the stream here. But thank you all for watching. I hope you learned something, and hopefully I'll see you next week.